Hey, I'm Micki.
I'm Kat.
We are Cat and Mouse Astrology, and this is the full moon in Sagittarius, June of 2025.
Ooh,
Ooh,
I do love Sagittarius.
I love Sagittarius.
Yeah.
Time to get going. Shoot the arrow.
Right? Be hopeful and dreamy and intelligent and
Yeah,
spiritual.
we got stuff going on with Jupiter moving into Cancer.
Whew.
Let's take a look at this beautiful
Yeah,
thing.
let's see the chart.
Okay. Wow, how does that look? You can see it okay?
I can't see it yet. There it is. Yep.
So, yeah, we've got a 20-degree, almost 21-degree moon in
Mm.
uh, the moon is in Sag and the sun is in Gemini, of course. And having just this minute practically left Gemini is Jupiter sitting right there, very close to Mercury.
Right. So many great conjunctions this moon.
Yeah. There's some big things we're talking about right now. And I think we're going to get kind of mama bear about the conversation.
Mm.
I feel like this conversation is headed towards mama bear because Cancer,
Right.
and but we also have the beautiful sextile with Venus and this conjunction.
Hmm.
So that's pretty nice because Venus is at home in Taurus.
Yeah.
So she being sextile with Jupiter, you can't have it much nicer than a sextile Jupiter Venus.
Right. Except for maybe adding Mercury into the mix.
Right. That makes it pretty. You could just we can talk about how pretty it is.
Yeah.
The only trouble is Saturn is coming along saying, "Stop! Don't go there. There's a boundary right here."
Oh, these boundary disputes.
So, in the news, we've got the protests, and the people going into the protests are positive about it. And there's a Saturn thing going, "Stop!"
Right.
So, but we also
It's
have a
like,
big old healing trine.
mm. Oh, between Mars and Chiron. Look at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
So I have a sense of, Mars is being positively aspected by this. Mars is a malefic, but Chiron in trine with it, you know, I'm feeling pretty, I'm feeling more positive about this than I might otherwise, that we might pull out of this without going into a tailspin for the
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. What do you
Right.
think?
We might. I don't even want to call it protest. I want to call it community defense.
Thank you. Community defense. That's a much, much more accurate description.
Right?
Yes. Yes. Um, so yeah, I like the healing trine with Mars and Chiron. It feels necessary, even though the Saturn in Aries is saying, "Stop."
Mhm. Right. And it's almost a grand trine on the fire signs with the moon.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay. This bodes well for the people.
It does. It does. We've got also noticed that there's an almost opposition, almost, within 3 degrees, Venus and Black Moon.
Ooh, interesting.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
Black Moon is in square with uh well, it's yeah, it's
Pluto.
not a square with Pluto. It's 5 degrees, but because it's only 3 degrees to Venus, and Venus is just 2 degrees to Pluto, I'm calling it a square.
Yeah.
So we've got a square with Pluto, Venus, and Black Moon.
Dang. Okay. Well, we'll have
And
to see what those symbols say.
yeah, let's take a look at that because there's some strength in a Venus Pluto square but Black Moon is giving us some shadow. But there's
Yeah,
powerful female in this.
definitely. What do we want to look at first? The moon?
Yeah, let's do the moon in Sag at 20, try 20 and 21, see which fits.
20, a child and a dog wearing borrowed eyeglasses.
Not feeling that one.
I am in the sense of like there are a bunch of people not seeing things right now.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's a bunch of tantrums going on.
The Saturn Neptune conjunction
Right.
is really like, stop! I can't see where I'm going.
Right?
Well, what is 21, just out of curiosity?
21 is a Chinese laundry, which I
Yeah.
guess is maybe an immigrant issue.
Mhm.
Maybe they both fit, but then there's always ways to make metaphors fit.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. What's our sun at 20 Gemini?
A cafeteria, oh wait, no. A tumultuous labor demonstration.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's at 20, right?
That's a 20.
Yeah. So that makes me think it's 20 for Sag as well, which is the
Yeah,
blinding the poor dog.
right,
read
right.
read 20 Sag again just for fun, because that was kind of a interesting
A,
visual.
a child and a dog wearing borrowed sunglasses.
Child and a dog.
Oh my God, it's like the man child in power and the guard dogs.
Oh,
Neither of them are seeing
whoa.
anything for the way that it really is.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's really good. Yeah, I really like that. And so,
Mm.
I'm sorry, do the sun again then at 20 Gemini. That's the labor dispute.
The labor dispute, a tumultuous labor demonstration.
Right, right. So there's our protest, and then we
Hmm.
have a blinded baby and a bunch of guard dogs. Har, 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 har.
Hmm.
And they are actually blinded because those are the people you can't see. I mean, they're kept in shadows. There's maybe some black moon. Let's do
Oh, yeah.
black moon at 8 degrees of Scorpio.
A dentist at work,
Drilling.
drilling, taking out the rotten parts.
Yeah, you got to expose the rotten parts. You got to, when we go to the dentist, they have to actually see what's rotten
Hmm.
to be able to drill it out.
Hmm.
This has been an analogy that I've been thinking about really since 2017.
Hmm.
When an indigenous woman, and I don't remember her name, I'm sorry to say, pointed out at a rally that what we were dealing with was like a something that had been scabbed over the
Mm.
psyche of the American people,
Yes.
about people believing until then that racism was all over
Oh
and
God, right.
sexism
I
was
hate
all
that so much.
over, and we don't need affirmative action and we don't need to worry about women anymore. That's all in the past. And she pointed out that we were taking off a scab, and what we were looking at was all the pus underneath, and there was a lot to clean out. And this makes me think that, when there's a lot to clean out, you kind of got to get down there with a drill.
Yeah, it's true.
This is not something that can just be easily, wiped off. It's not surface, it's very deep.
Right.
So Black Moon in opposition with Chiron, or sorry, with Venus.
Mm.
Chiron is not to conjunct, so it's too far off via sign for this
Mm.
part.
Yeah.
But what's Venus tell us
Venus and Taurus,
at 5?
5 degrees. A bridge being built across a gorge.
Yeah. See, that's good. Bridging the
Yep.
gap here.
Yep.
Bridging the gap between ideals that we had maybe, early in the founding of our nation, and how those ideals didn't live up, right? But now
Yeah,
they're
but they
getting
never
stripped away
intended that for
completely.
everybody.
Say again.
They never intended that for everybody,
Right. So now
you know?
bridging the gap so that those ideals can actually be for everybody, and that we want to reaffirm those ideals for all.
Yeah.
I'm really extrapolating, but I feel like that. That's what I'm feeling. What
I
about
mean, that's the way we have to go.
right? What does Pluto say in this at 3 degrees of the people in Aquarius?
3 degrees of the people. A Hindu healer.
Yeah, a Hindu healer.
Mm,
Wow, that's fascinating. Venus and the Pluto and the black moon all in this tight turning of the corner configuration. It's not tight.
right.
It's a loose square, but it is a turning of the corner configuration. I don't know. It could give us some energy, especially with Mars over there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one in square to Chiron. So what's our Mars at 26?
Daybreak, the luminescence of dawn in the eastern sky.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
That is nice.
Fits well with the Hindu healer.
It does. And the building of bridges
Yeah,
and the cleaning out of a wound
yeah,
or an infection. An infection is a good terminology, although we want to like not dehumanize people, but um
right.
like when
Well,
you talk about that,
infection
like
is
that psyche,
mentality, right?
the
It's
scar,
negative mentality.
yeah, yeah. That scar on the psyche of the US is an infection of inequalities and hierarchies and
Exactly. Yep, yep. And it's
greed.
so mixed up that you know, we've talked a long time about people not voting their self-interest and such.
Yeah.
There's there's something to this healing about recognizing what your self-interest is, what side of the bread you want your butter on, what
Uh-huh.
side of the bread your butter. I'm not sure of that analogy. But there is something to, recognizing what happens. There is a wake up point, I think, where people maybe go, oh wait, this is too far.
Mm,
I thought that there were people taking my jobs, but they just hauled away infants. That's too
right.
far.
I feel like they'll never hear that though. They'll never hear that story and they'll never believe it.
But this is astrology is showing us that that's not true. There is a churning of the corner going on here.
Yeah.
But Black Moon in that space is saying that, yeah, there's a dark shadow there that a lot of people are not aware of. But Venus and Pluto are, a woman is going to come up to somebody and say, see,
Yeah.
there's a strong feminine in this.
Yeah.
And I recall from our previous, in previous bad times, it's often women that step up and go, oh no, we're not, we're done now.
That's true.
It's time to cut it out.
It's true.
So this may be a dawning of that sort of perspective. What is our Chiron at 26 also of Aries?
Oh. Through imagination, a lost opportunity is regained,
That's cool.
right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing. That's like the never fulfilled promise of this nation.
that's right. And there's a lot of people working out there for some positive good, and I could see that something could catch fire. These are both
Yeah.
fire signs,
Right? Got
right?
that golden trine and the fire signs.
Yeah.
between Chiron, Mars, and the moon.
Exactly.
That is pretty nice.
It's pretty nice. I'm feeling that it's adding some hope to something that, um, like I said, it could get real ugly, but and obviously has gotten ugly, but some there are positive things working to keep the lid on, or maybe that's not the right word, to keep it moving in the right direction.
There's a bridge being built over the gorge.
There's a bridge being built over the gorge. Yeah. Now we've got a whole year, um, of Neptune and Saturn so close together that they are, for all practical purposes, conjunct.
That is actually a real opportunity.
It is to get real.
Yeah. Through imagination, a lost opportunity is regained.
Damn.
Through our imagination, we can restructure the social fabric.
Exactly. And think about it in our personal lives as well. Because, you know, these things reflect as above, so below. In our own personal lives, what's your personal lost opportunity?
Mm,
Can be reclaimed here through your imagination, and that
yeah,
structure, the structuring of your imagination that's being offered by this Saturn Neptune conjunction, and the
yeah.
healing, because Chiron has been tracking right along with this.
Mm-hmm.
So this is pretty interesting. There's uh a bit of concern for me because we also have a square with Uranus.
Oh. Oh,
It's,
to
it doesn't
Mars.
show it as a big line, but it is a square between Uranus and Mars,
Okay.
and it's
28 and
yeah, 28
26.
Taurus.
Two cobblers working at a table. Those are shoemakers.
Uh-huh. Two cobblers working at a table.
Oh, so it's workers
Well, it is, and it's a labor strike.
and it's a labor strike.
Yeah.
And it's also making me think like Zapata of the Zapatista, like the Zapatista movement is named after Zapata, who was a Mexican revolutionary. Um, and I believe he was a shoemaker.
Oh,
Is
that's
that not
very
accurate?
interesting.
I
Yeah.
might not be right. That might not be accurate. I might be making that up. But it struck me, maybe.
Uh-huh. Well, that's an interesting additional bit of energy. There's volatility there. And that's probably what we've been seeing.
But it's a working class thing, right?
Right. It's a
Because
working class.
that's the real thing. Like, who is the real enemy here?
Exactly.
Who
Exactly.
really needs to be like put down?
Could it be the couple thousand billionaires that are the enemy? Is that
Right,
possible? Is
right.
that possible? That maybe it's the 60% of all of us that don't have near as much as those few people, that
Right. Not
that's
like a
really what the
5-year-old
possible?
Honduran girl in the hospital. Like she's not my enemy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's real interesting how just a few people can create an illusion
Hmm.
that makes us think that no, it's that tiny child who's taking
Right.
something away from me, not the billionaire who's literally flying around in a 16 jets with 15 homes and a whole bunch of wives,
Keeping us all in poverty.
keeping us all in poverty. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, this is an interesting build towards something. Um, it would be interesting to find out if we did have a bunch of actual strikes that came on the heels of this. For example,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know, but I could imagine a lot of different ways that people might be getting ready to activate in ways that are positive for
Hmm.
overall good for the people, because
Hmm.
because we've got Venus in this mix, playing a strong role here as well.
Oh yeah. We haven't looked at that yet, have we? Oh,
Uh,
that's the bridge.
yeah,
Right.
that's the 5 degrees Taurus.
Yeah. The bridge over the gorge.
Exactly. So what we didn't look at, I don't think there's been a change, but what is 1 degree of Aries for Saturn?
Right. The comedian entertaining the group.
Right. Yeah, here's a, when I hear that, I can't help but think of Monsieur Volodymyr Zelensky and his practically one person pushback against forces against democracy.
Mm.
And the Saturn Neptune conjunction we talked about last time, it's a historical significance in the history of Russia.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Nick Dagan Best goes into that in great detail on the astrology podcast with Chris Brennan. So if anybody
Mhm.
wants to hear a lot of detail about that Saturn Neptune conjunction and how it's impacted history over a lot of years, especially Russian history, I would go check out the astrology podcast.
Interesting.
I think we should also look at the North Node.
Good idea.
22 degrees. I'd go 22 and 23. It's really closer to 23 degrees.
I don't even see it. Oh, in Pisces.
Yeah.
A materializing medium giving a seance and an inhabited island. Hmm.
It's very fuzzy. An
Mm.
inhabited island.
Yeah.
Uh,
And a materializing medium giving a seance.
Interesting. You know, the North Node is what we're moving towards, is our conscious aspirations, whereas the South Node is our subconscious in
Right.
a lot of ways, and we think of it as the past. What does the
Right.
past say at 22 or 23 degrees of Virgo? Maybe that'll add some clarity.
Yeah. A lion tamer rushes fearlessly into the circus arena, or Mary and her white lamb.
Wow.
I mean, there's a good amount of fearlessness going on right now.
Right, and I've been waiting to see what heroes we're going to see in this coming out of this. And
Yeah.
Mary her white lamb is also an interesting symbol because um, peace and love.
Hmm.
We need a little peace and love right now, and Mary and her little lamb is a very peaceful symbol.
Hmm.
Mary loves her little lamb. His teeth
Hmm.
is white as snow. But you know what? Um, we also like little black lambs
Yeah.
and brown ones. uh, I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to add on this moon? It's complicated. There's a lot going on here.
I don't feel like we looked at Mercury.
Oh, did we?
I don't think we looked at Jupiter, Mercury.
I don't think we did.
Yeah. So let's look at that real quick. Cancer.
Yeah.
0 and 1 or 0 and 4?
It's 0 and 4 now, and
Okay.
it's closer to 5 almost with the Mercury.
Ah, Jupiter. On a ship, sailors lower an old flag and raise a new one.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh. 4. At a railroad crossing, an automobile is wrecked by a train.
That feels like kind of what we've been going through, a train
It
wreck.
does kind of feel like what we've been going through. Mercury, what's the message right now? A crash.
Well, it's a real clash to pull people against each other, and um, those people have their own. Heather Cox Richardson pointed out that in the people being deployed that they were trying to deploy, 40% are women and African American or Hispanic
Oh, wow.
that they're trying to put out against.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not bright.
Yeah.
the child wearing the glasses that they're the sunglasses being blinded because he can't see, and the dogs, those are bulldogs are not smart. Not smart. So
I saw a
maybe
good video of the community defenders, I'll call them,
right?
talking to the agents of state repression, I'll call them,
Uh-huh.
giving that like, what are you doing? Why are you on that side of the line? Take
Right.
off your uniform, find another job. You're
Right.
my brother. What do you do? Why are you doing this to us?
Yes.
How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you keep us from exercising our rights?
Yeah. And this has got to be impacting a lot of boomers because, Kent State,
Yeah.
flowers in the guns, folks. And that's a symbol that has not gone away. I cannot believe that the majority of people support what's happening. Like the Neptune Saturn conjunction is going to have to open up some eyes. It could be painful to see this.
It's not believable. Nothing's believable anymore.
Right, right,
You can't believe anything that comes out of the official channels anymore.
right.
You know? Fake news, fake news. Ah, it's all fake news. Let me get in power so I can make fake news.
Yeah, yep, there we go. And that is interesting because it really does have to do with the Neptune Saturn conjunction as you go.
Delusional.
Well, right. And as we go through history and you look at, the history of the Soviet Union and the history of Vladimir Putin's Russia, we see delusion as the major tool that was used
Yeah.
and is still being used, of course, delusion in a way to try and structure people and control them. Go
Yeah.
drink your vodka. You're going to die at 54 anyway. It doesn't matter.
Jesus.
That's the average lifespan of a Russian, 54,
Wow.
of a
Right?
Russian man, for real. But we Americans have been deluded by Russia to think that they're just like us. No, buddy, you get an average life of 74, not 54.
Average,
You get
the average
20
age.
years longer because of our society being freer.
Yeah.
So
The
let's,
average age in Palestine is 18.
yeah, exactly. So let's get these billionaires out of power because they're not doing anybody any good. They're not even
No.
helping themselves because the world is going to burn up because of them because they're not doing anything to take care of global warming.
Yeah.
Because of all this bullshit fascism, we're hearing nothing about global warming.
Well, we haven't been hearing anything about global warming for a while. They haven't been doing anything for a while. So it's not just the fascists, unless you're willing to recognize that the liberals are also fascists in their own way. They also don't want to do anything.
Right. It's the corporatocracy, and
The
that's where
corporate
the fascism comes from because it's all about
right.
somebody's fucking greed.
Right. Fascism is capitalism in decay
Yeah. I want a
because you
nice
cannot
big government.
continue to take and take and take and take and take and take and take without ever giving anything back.
Yep. Why are you taxing
Reciprocity is
me?
the
How
natural
come you're
law of
taxing me? I don't want to pay any taxes. I want a nice big government with lots of regulations to keep these big billionaires in check. Beat them down to size. Give me an Eisenhower and an FDR again. That's what
well,
we
we need to
need.
build the bridge then.
Yep. That's what
I
they
don't
do.
know that
They
like
build bridges. Hold
maybe
on.
our
Keep
year
going.
in of Saturn Neptune is
Oh,
it's
nice.
gonna be a battle, I think,
Yeah,
between the forces of delusion and the forces trying to build bridges.
exactly. So
Bridges to the future.
bridges to the future that take the ideals and take it to a broader populace.
Right.
All because this is an Aquarian place that we're moving into, and that's for all of us,
Right.
not dictatorship for all of us,
No.
democracy for all of us,
Yes.
and that means worldwide. I mean, we really can't have a place.
I want a
Because
different
we
kind of
can't.
democracy though. The
Well,
like
right, it's not a
50% winner takes all.
corporatocracy.
50% winner takes all doesn't work for me.
Right, the corporatocracy is a big fail.
Yeah.
Right, that's why we need a big government with lots of regulations so that the democracy can be something that works for people. We did have something that worked for a lot of middle class white people,
Right.
50s and 60s.
Yeah, that's the time they
We
want to go back
could,
to,
right,
when
we
it was
could
good for middle class
revive
white people.
that. Well, they want to go back to the Gilded Age in the 1800s,
Oh, that's true too.
but they have slavery, and that includes white Irish slaves.
Yeah.
But if we could get to a place where we have that desire for, a middle class that includes
I don't
everybody.
want a middle class. I want a classless society.
Well, I would like to get to that. I have less belief that that'll happen, but there's my
Keep the ideal, Micki.
really.
Keep the ideal. We're building bridges to the
That's
values we
right.
really want.
That's right. Let's move to a classless society. Look, they've done it most in Scandinavia. It's embarrassing to have too much wealth.
Yeah, it's like that in a lot of places.
Right. Because you look kind of stupid and greedy.
Yeah.
Maybe you should give away some,
Yeah.
share. Anyway,
Exactly.
we have to teach our children to share better. It's hard not to go political on these rants and these times that we live in. We've done a
Well,
pretty good
anything,
job.
yeah.
So I apologize to those people that have already clicked off and said, what?
I don't.
There you go. Astrology right
They
now
like
is,
this. They know it's coming.
that's right. Astrology right now is telling us that there's a big, ugly protest going on, and we're simply reflecting that.
Right. As above, so below.
That's right.
We're
That's
building bridges. Keep
right.
going to your agents of the state kin and ask them to quit their jobs.
Yeah.
You don't have to comply with unjust laws, and you
You're an
don't have to
agent for the
comply
people.
with immoral orders because migration is a natural right.
Yeah, it is.
And
So,
we're all immigrants.
and people deserve to be treated with respect, and that includes the rights of prisoners. And we've had that until now. We have never allowed in our society, well, we've never allowed for long in our society masked people to come
Mm.
arrest children and haul them away without
Right.
due process.
Right. No, that's
So
absolutely unacceptable.
that's fascism, and we're not going to let it happen. We're not going to let this crap stand.
No.
So protest. Anyway, I love you.
Community safety.
I love you all. Keep loving your hearts. The love is what we have to keep strong for everybody.
That's right.
All right. Take care,
Happy
everybody.
full moon.
Happy Sag Moon.